Well, hey, Northwood friends. I'm here with a good pastor friend. His name is Ben McEachern, and he's the pastor of Northridge Fellowship up in Rogers, a short distance from our own property there in Maple Grove. Northridge Fellowship is similar to Northwood in many ways. We have a lot in common. We fall from the same spiritual parent. Northwood is a daughter church of Wooddale Church in Eden Prairie. Northridge Church is a granddaughter church of Wooddale in Eden Prairie because they were birthed by Woodridge Church, the very first daughter church of Wooddale. And we also share in common with them a similar time in which we began. We began in Easter of 2000, and Northridge began in September of the year 2000. And also a third thing we share in common with each other is the journey towards a building. Northridge, like us, has been a bit of a traveling church for a period of time before they were able to secure this building that we're now sitting in here in Rogers. So I'm going to ask Ben some questions about the journey of Northridge, a bit about the history so we can learn from them and also be inspired by their story, how God has provided for them as we're trusting Him to provide for us. So Ben, tell us about Northridge in its beginning days and how you got to this beautiful space that you're in.
Well, Northridge really didn't get very far because we started right across the street from this current facility at the Rogers Elementary School, and met there for most of the 10 years, probably about 7.5 of the 10 years that it took us to get to this building. It was in July 6th of 2009 that the Lord had opened up the door for us. And actually the story is very similar to you in that when we did our giving campaign, this building wasn't really available. I mean, we knew it was on the market, but way overpriced. And so we were looking for land, we were looking for everything else. And when we gave our giving campaign, we didn't even know what we were getting, so it's very similar to you guys there. But what was really cool is how God provided this and how, through everything else, the price came down to a price we could afford. There's a whole miraculous story in there. And then the fact that we had given our giving campaign for one particular purpose, thinking it was going to go this way. We were going to buy raw land. We were going to then build and, all that kind of stuff. It turned out that we had exactly what we needed to do what God had provided. And it was really exciting, that at the end of the day to think that we have all the cash in hand, we have the pledges we need. Everything was ready to go. So it was pretty exciting.
So let's talk about Northridge in terms of what difference has it made to have your own space?
Well, I guess I would look at three things that I think, and this might actually be in order of importance. The first thing that we noticed was that it enhanced the relationships and the relational component. Jesus said, "By this will all men know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." Right. And it's hard for the world coming in to believe you love each other if they don't see you talking and relating. And if there isn't that opportunity for them to be invited into that conversation, and our people have been historically great at seeing people who are new and pulling them into the conversation. And with the building, what we have noticed is, that this whole relational component has been enhanced because, it's not, we don't have the pressure of getting out. We don't have the kind of the newness. I mean, we're in the elementary school. I mean, the locker bay is not the most relational. It ain't Caribou. Let's put it that way. The second thing that I would say is the creativity of ministry goes into figuring out where are we going to meet and how are we going to adapt our ministry to the container, because a container shapes the ministry that's done in it. Yeah. And when you've got your own building, you have control of the container. So the third thing that I think the building gave for us is the credibility in the community. We got it over and over again the first 10 years. It's like, okay, you guys disappear during the week. You're fly by night. And even though we did a lot of other things to mitigate that, certain involvement in the community and stuff, things we're still doing. There was this reticence of, you're just not permanent. Mm. And are you going to be fixed? Are you going to be here next week? Are you going to be here next year? What's your, and part of, I think, the question at the heart of the community is, are you committed to us?
Hmm. So you've been in this building for a while now. So tell us some of your favorite places or spaces in the building.
All right, well, you're in one of them.
Yeah.
Right now. We love this worship center. It's reverent, and it's flexible. We can do a lot of different things in it. Now, the other place that I love is the atrium. And we call it the atrium. It's a very optimistic name for it. We call it the atrium basically because it has about 4 skylights in it. But that's the purpose. It's always bright, it's always open, and it is created. We had a great architect that we just asked, we'd like Caribou meets your living room. And that when people walk in, that they would feel a warmth in the architecture that would reflect the warmth that we want to give them relationally when they walk in the room. 3 years ago now, we added on, and we created a great room with Sunday school classes. We have a great room centered with classrooms around the edge, and then we do large group, small group. Very flexible. It can do anything from dodgeball to men's breakfasts. And yet it really facilitates the way we want to do children's ministry. Yeah. And then what's really cool is, this building is actually 2 sanctuaries. There's the original one built in 1976, and then this built in 1987, which is where we are today. Yeah. And in the old one in 1986, or 76, excuse me, that is now our youth space. Yeah. And so they've got a really cool space to do youth ministry.
Thanks, Ben, for sharing some time with us to tell us about Northridge and your excitement about what God's done here in the building He's provided for you. Thanks very much.
Well, you are very welcome. And I'm just excited for Northwood and to see what God's going to do with this new tool that He's given you. And I am sure that you are going to just fill it up, wear it out, maybe have to get another one.